It's one of life's little pleasures, really. Taking a small, responsive car, like the Fiesta, for a spin on country lanes at the weekend. But come Monday morning, when you're hacking through all that traffic on the way to the office and driving isn't so much a pleasure. And that's when people's minds, myself included, start to turn to the subject of automatic gearboxes. Now, of course, a conventional automatic gearbox is a clutchless gearbox. But nevertheless, it still needs something to divorce the engine from the gearbox when the car is stationary. Otherwise, you'd never be able to stop the car moving forward. That something is called a torque converter, and it performs two other important functions as well. First of all, it acts as a kind of variable ratio gearbox, increasing the turning movement, that's the torque of the engine, when the car's at low speeds, and also it replaces the conventional flywheel. So, on an ordinary automatic gearbox, the torque converter, which takes some of the power anyway to run itself, is rather heavy, and if you fit a conventional automatic to a small engine car like the Fiesta, then you can produce something which is rather more expensive to run, thus defeating one of the principal purposes for buying a small car in the first place. So, how do you crack the problem? Watch. Well, the first thing you do is not to try and apply a big engine solution to a small engine opportunity. You design a gearbox suited to the needs of a small engine in a small car, and when you've done that, you've produced this. The Ford CTX automatic gearbox. CTX stands for Continuously Variable Transaxle, by the way. As you can see, it's extremely compact, ideal for a small car, and like all the very best engineering ideas, its principle of operation is fundamentally very simple indeed. Let's look inside. The key to its elegant simplicity lies in three simple but beautifully engineered objects: a pair of pulleys and a belt. The belt is made from hundreds of high-grade steel links, designed to last for tens of thousands of miles, while each of the pulleys is mounted on a shaft which allows the two sides to slide apart. When you start off, the two sides of the bottom pulley are wide apart, so the belt turns a small distance at the bottom and a large one at the top. Result, low gear. As you go faster, the bottom pulley closes up while the top one opens. This changes the ratio. Result, high gear. It's really amazingly straightforward, isn't it? Now, at the business end, what do you get? Well, you get something that looks just like an automatic gearbox gate change, which is, of course, what it is. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low. Driving it, very straightforward. Start up, select D, and off you go. In fact, the only way that a CTX differs from a traditional transmission is the feel of the thing as you start up from rest. What happens is that the engine revs up to its maximum pulling power and then the gearbox catches up with it. Many people have remarked that this is rather like the feeling of being in an aircraft during takeoff. And that's because there aren't a fixed number of preset gears. The CTX has a very wide gear ratio. In fact, a conventional gearbox would have to offer 6 speeds to match CTX's range. So to put that all simply, the CTX allows you to choose the speed and then matches precisely the right gearing to that speed. So because you're never in the wrong gear, the economy figures of a CTX Fiesta verge, frankly, on the unbelievable. In government fuel tests at a steady 56 miles per hour, a CTX Fiesta averaged 58.9 to the gallon. Now, would you believe that that's exactly the same figure as a 5-speed manual gearbox version of the same car? Here's a good illustration of one of its other advantages. The CTX gearbox offers a selectable low hold, I've just put it in there, which a lot of automatic drivers prefer in a situation like this when you're descending a steep hill. And remember, of course, because there is no gear changing, it's just one smooth progressive acceleration all the way from rest to the top speed of 87 miles an hour. A very smooth acceleration curve indeed. What's more, because of the extra high cruising ratio, it's highly economical and very efficient. For instance, we're now doing about 55 miles an hour. The engine is turning over at just under 2,000 revs a minute. Pretty efficient stuff. And like all proper automatics, the CTX transmission offers a lively kickdown, giving an extra burst of power when you want to overtake. So there we are, Fiesta with the new optional CTX automatic transmission. Now every model in the Ford lineup has an automatic option. And on the Fiesta, it's not just available on this top-of-the-range gear model. CTX is also an option on 1.1-litre Fiesta Ls too. CTX, engineered to take the hassle out of driving in traffic. Convenient, efficient, reliable. Making Fiesta the small car that's now so smart, it can change gear on its own.